Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. In our last episode, we explored Chapter 2 of Handbook of Abhidhamma Studies, Volume 3, where we studied consciousness in complex processes. We saw how consciousness functions in rebirth, death, and daily activities, and how wholesome and unwholesome states interact with conditional relations. Today, we move into Chapter 3, Mental Factors in Depth. In Volume 1, we learned that there are 52 mental factors or cetasikas. These are qualities that arise together with consciousness, shaping its ethical quality and experiential flavor. In Volume 2, we examined their conditional roles. Now, in Volume 3, we go deeper. We'll provide a detailed analysis of the 52 cetasikas. We'll explain how subtle factors like attention, volition, and perception condition consciousness. We'll see how wholesome factors like faith, mindfulness, and wisdom strengthen practice. And we'll examine how unwholesome factors like conceit, wrong view, and sloth perpetuate suffering. So, if you've ever wondered, how do mental factors shape consciousness? How do wholesome qualities strengthen meditation? How do unwholesome qualities perpetuate suffering? This chapter will guide us. In Abhidhamma, mental factors are defined as qualities that arise together with consciousness, share the same object, and contribute to the experience. There are 52 in total, grouped into categories. Universal factors, present in every moment of consciousness, e.g., feeling, perception, volition. Occasional factors, present in some moments, e.g., attention, decision. Unwholesome factors here rooted in greed, hatred, delusion, e.g., conceit, wrong view, sloth. Beautiful factors, wholesome qualities like faith, mindfulness, compassion, wisdom. Together, these factors shape the ethical quality of consciousness. They condition whether a moment is wholesome, unwholesome, or functional. Some mental factors are subtle but powerful in conditioning consciousness. Attention, manasikara, directs consciousness to the object. Without attention, consciousness cannot engage. Volition cetana directs the mind toward action. It is the essence of karma. Perception, sanya, recognizes and labels objects. It conditions memory and recognition. These subtle factors condition consciousness in profound ways. For example, when we see a flower, attention directs consciousness to the visual object. Perception recognizes it as flower. Volition directs the mind toward response, perhaps to pick it, admire it, or ignore it. Or this shows how subtle factors condition consciousness, shaping experience and action. Wholesome mental factors strengthen practice. For example, faith, sada, conditions confidence and devotion. It inspires practice. Mindfulness, sati, conditions awareness and clarity. It keeps the mind present. Wisdom, panya, conditions insight. It penetrates impermanence, suffering, and non-self. Together, these factors condition wholesome consciousness. They purify the mind, strengthen meditation, and lead toward liberation. For example, in meditation, faith inspires effort. Mindfulness sustains awareness. Wisdom penetrates reality. This shows how wholesome factors strengthen practice, conditioning the path to nibbana. Unwholesome mental factors perpetuate suffering. For example, conceit, mana, conditions pride and arrogance. Wrong view, ditthi, conditions distorted perception. Sloth, thina, conditions laziness and dullness. Together, these factors condition unwholesome consciousness. They defile the mind, weaken practice, and perpetuate samsara. For example, when anger arises, conceit conditions pride, I am right. Wrong view conditions distortion, they are wrong. Sloth conditions laziness, unwillingness to reflect. This shows how unwholesome factors perpetuate suffering, conditioning unwholesome consciousness. Wholesome and unwholesome factors interact in conditional relations. For example, a mindfulness can weaken craving, wisdom can weaken ignorance, and compassion can weaken hatred. But unwholesome factors can obstruct wholesome ones. Conceit can weaken humility, wrong view can weaken wisdom. Sloth can weaken effort. This interaction explains the struggle of practice. Wholesome and unwholesome factors condition consciousness in different directions. Practice is the cultivation of wholesome factors and the weakening of unwholesome ones. How does this help us in practice? By observing mental factors, we see conditionality directly. We notice how attention conditions perception, how volition conditions action, how faith conditions effort, how conceit conditions pride. This observation deepens insight. It helps us see impermanence, suffering, and non-self. For example, when laziness arises, we can reflect, this is conditioned by sloth. It is not me. It is just conditions. That reflection weakens attachment. So the study of mental factors in depth is not just theory. It is a practical guide to seeing conditionality in meditation and daily life. Some critics say the analysis of 52 mental factors is too complex. Why so many? Isn't this over-analysis? But the purpose is precision. Just as a scientist studies molecules in detail, a meditator studies mental factors in detail. Another criticism is that it is too abstract, but in practice, even a basic understanding helps us see conditionality. We don't need to memorize all 52. We just need to see that mental factors condition consciousness. So, to conclude, Chapter 3 of Volume 3 provides deeper analysis of the 52 cetasikas. We've explained how subtle factors like attention, volition, and perception condition consciousness. We've seen how wholesome factors like faith, mindfulness, and wisdom strengthen practice. And we've examined how unwholesome factors like conceit, wrong view, and sloth perpetuate suffering. Most importantly, we've seen how this helps us in practice. By observing mental factors as conditioning forces, we deepen insight and move toward liberation. Thank you so much for joining me in this deep dive into Chapter 3 of Handbook of Abhidhamma Studies, Volume 3. We've journeyed through the deeper analysis of mental factors, seeing how subtle qualities condition consciousness, how wholesome factors strengthen practice, and how unwholesome factors perpetuate suffering. If you found this exploration helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others who might be interested in Buddhist philosophy and meditation. In our next episode, we'll move into Chapter 4, where we explore matter, rupa, and its conditional roles, seeing how physical phenomena are sustained by karma, consciousness, temperature, and nutriment. Until then, may you be well, may you be peaceful, and may you continue your journey into wisdom.